Hey everybody. So the first chapter in any program, in any text, in any video, in any sort of methodology behind wilderness survival and preparedness is always positive mental attitude, or PMA. It's an acronym. There's a ton of acronyms in the world. There's probably way too many, but unfortunately, I'm going to have a couple more for you today. So, PMA, it's just easier to say than positive mental attitude. The basic idea behind PMA is that we need to have for ourselves the will to survive. What happens when we realize that something bad is going on is that our lizard brain takes over and our body releases chemicals into our brain that help us in what is commonly called the fight or flight response. These chemicals actually sharpen our senses. They help us to see clearer, hear better. We have a keener sense of smell, of taste. Everything gets amplified. And we also, I'm sure you're aware of, get a nice little dose of adrenaline, which gives us a little more energy. The problem with that nice little lizard brain response is that if we don't get it under control, it can actually take over our rational thinking part of our brain, and unchecked can cause us to make poor decisions that actually will get us in a bigger trouble than we were already in the first place. So positive mental attitude, having that sort of presence of mind to get yourself through whatever challenge you're facing, whether it's sheltering at home or leaving your home because of some emergency or the authorities have asked you to leave your home, or in a wilderness situation where you're trying to survive outdoors and you've lost your way, or you've taken an injury in your party or something like that. The number one thing that you have to have is this sort of will to survive. I really like the movie The Martian because it really talks to that idea that taking that energy and focusing it on working a solution for the problem rather than thinking of all the terrible outcomes that could happen as a result of that problem. So, positive mental attitude. Another way that I like to describe it is because we all become middle schoolers, right? When things go terrible, our first inclination is to think, I'm gonna die. I'm never gonna recover from this. This is all my fault. There's no way out. My breath smells terrible, and so do my pits. No, just me? Okay. Anyway, that was my middle school. No, anyway, what we want to do is sort of change that thinking to, yeah, I'm going to die, but it doesn't have to be right now, and it doesn't have to be right here. I can focus my energy on getting myself through this situation and moving toward a better situation. So, acronym number 2 is the word stop. What I would like for you to do is stop. When you sense that panic sort of starting to set in, when you sense the adrenaline kicking in, stop. The first letter is actually stop. I have a good friend who was a guide in Yosemite for decades, very experienced outdoorsman, knows the backcountry and has the skills for the backcountry, but he's also sort of a tall, lanky, very fast-talking guy. You probably know the type. Very high energy. He also knows this about himself, that in a panic situation, his first inclination is to rush off and try and find a solution. He also knows that that's a terrible idea, so he will literally sit down in the trail, in the path, in the dirt, wherever he is, and stop before he makes any further mistakes. So, what I would like for us to do together is to take a moment and just stop. Take 3 nice deep breaths with me. Good. And what you've just done is you've increased the flow of oxygen to your brain. You've given your brain some of the fuel that it needs to kind of keep those other hormones and the adrenaline at bay. Settle you down and focus on the T. Stop. T is for think. Think about what's actually going on, because again, we tend to blow things out of proportion. We like to use a lot of adjectives instead of facts. Terrible, awesome, overwhelming, disastrous. Sometimes these adjectives are appropriate, but more often than not, they're things that we see on some of the more sensationalist news broadcasts to get a rise out of us, and it does get a rise out of us. Instead, think about what's actually happening right now. So, find out what the facts of the matter are. We could easily, if we were, say, in the backcountry on a backpacking trip, and one of our people got injured, maybe sprained or broke his ankle, and now we're trapped in the outdoors, and immediately we can begin thinking we're never going to make it out of here. Well, the fact of the matter may be that it's day 3 of a 7-day backpacking trip. You've still got 4 days of food. You've got shelter. You've got a decent group of people with you. There's a lot of things that are workable in your current situation. So find out what those things are. Think. Stop. Get your breathing under control. Get some oxygen to your brain. Think. Find out what the facts are. The Owen Stop is for observe. Take a look around. See what your assets are and what your liabilities are. What things could be good for you in your current situation? What things might you want to avoid? So, in our backpacking trip example, let's say, our liabilities might be that we've got an injury. That's the obvious one. We may be exposed. We may be out in the sunshine. It's bright, it's hot. We don't want to be out there forever, so let's figure out a way to get some shelter. Oh, we happen to have a tent in our backpack, so that's one of our assets. We have food and water assets. Catalog for yourself what you actually have up against you and what you actually have at your disposal to help you. Stop, think, observe. The P for stop is plan. At this point, you know what the facts of the situation are. You've gathered yourself and are in control of your mental, emotional faculties. You know what you have that you can and can't use to get out of the situation or to make the situation worse. Now it's time to come up with a plan. Going back to our injured backpacker on a trip, he's got a broken leg. We're going to splint it. We're going to immobilize the leg. We're going to have one person stay here with him. We're going to build a tent, get him into the tent so he's not out in full sun. In the meantime, 2 of our people can go back where they can get additional help to come out and get him out of the backcountry. That's the plan. Then you can execute. Stop, think, observe, plan, then execute. Positive mental attitude is the key. I hope that helped a little bit. I'm going to try and keep these short so they're not taking up your entire day watching them, and so they're easily digestible. If you enjoyed it, give that like button a click, subscribe to the channel. As always, take care of yourself, breathe, get ready.